Carving your own path, doing your own thing, and putting out what's inside you into the world is daunting. It takes courage and it demands vulnerability. Stepping outside societal norms, your friends, your parents' norms, what people in your art form think is the right way to do things can be terrifying. So how do we go about doing it?
Leave, Mr. Keating. I said leave, Mr. Keating.
Doing something else of what's expected is scary. People might not see what you see. You might fail, what you thought would work might not. That's the price you pay for creating art. Nothing original was ever created, where there weren't people who couldn't understand or see the vision the artist had. It's about trusting your intuition and doing what feels right. And that doesn't mean it will work or that you are right. But doing what's expected of us will only produce more of what has already been created. It's not the easy route to choose to think independently and be yourself. As Steve Jobs once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And that's the key. Muster up the courage to follow your heart. It's terrifying because there's no path laid out for you. There's not a manual for you to follow, or a teacher that tells you what's wrong or what's right on your test. What feels right is the correct answer. And what feels right today might not tomorrow. Creative people are scatterbrains. We suffer from shiny object syndrome. This is a fantastic tool to have when you are coming up with ideas. Your mind can go to so many places, see things from different perspectives, and make connections that others might not see. But the flip side of this is that it's sometimes hard to concentrate on one thing or see a project through to the end. I struggle with this. I can have the feeling when I begin on a project or an idea that this is the best idea in the world. It consumes my thoughts from when I wake up till I go to bed. And then suddenly that feeling is completely gone, from one day to the next. And this is why I think it's really important to separate the creative part of the project from the craft part. Rick Rubin talks about this in The Creative Act. He says, in some ways the craft phase is one of the least glamorous parts of the artist's job. There is creativity involved, but it often carries less of the magic of exploration and more of the labor of bricklaying. So I like to come up with ideas when the creative spark hits. Follow that feeling wherever it might take me. But as Rick Rubin also states, the previous phase doesn't have much purpose or meaning if you don't see the work through to the end. So it's crucial to separate the crafting part from the creative part. Both have their place and both can't live without each other. As I said earlier, there's no shortage of people who will try to get you to conform, to fit into whatever they think is right. But where's the fun in that? I love this quote from Rita Mae Brown, who says, "The reward for conformity is that everyone likes you but yourself."
Boys, you must strive to find your own voice. Because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all.
Listening to your gut, daring to be yourself, and stepping outside of others' expectations will not only feel better, it will make your art yours. This doesn't mean go against everything you have learned or go against the grain just because. But learn to listen to what feels right, and if you feel insecure about going in a direction because you are afraid of objections others might have, that might be the right path to go down.
You hear me? Sit down. Sit down. This is your final warning.
Going into the unknown isn't a walk in the park. It requires guts and a willingness to receive criticism.
How dare you cook in my kitchen? Where do you get such gold?
We have to embrace uncertainty and potential criticism, or at least learn to live with it. Go a little bit deeper than you are comfortable with. Push your boundaries a bit, like David Bowie says in this clip.
The other thing I would say is that if you feel safe in the area that you're working in, you're not working in the right area. Always go a little further into the water than you feel you're capable of being in. Go a little bit out of your depth. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting.
The key is not to go out so deep that you drown yourself, because it's too uncomfortable, but to go to where things start to feel like you're treading on new ground. It's inevitable that you will feel doubt or insecurity about what you're doing. That's a good thing. Knowing exactly what to do is not art, that's craft. And if you are afraid of the criticism you might receive, the comments people might have, that's okay too. Art doesn't live in a vacuum. It's meant to be shared, so it's natural to feel a certain level of nervousness about it. Just don't let it sway your judgment. The best way I know how to get through self-doubt about your work is to keep going. Don't dwell on the feedback from projects you have published. Move on to the next one. Keep getting better. The criticism will affect you less and less. In the beginning, you don't have to go all in and pour your whole being into creating art or what you are sharing. Start small. Begin doing small things that are uncomfortable. Sort of like exposure therapy. You can, for example, publish the process of a project you are working on before it's finished or polished. Show people some of the dirty sides of your process.
I want to make things. I want to add something to this world.
Follow that internal feeling like Remy in Ratatouille. If you have that drive to add something to the world, something you want to see, hear or experience, and you believe you can, do it. Fighting that underlying urge to give in to the critics is difficult. It feels like they aren't just ripping into your work, but also ripping into you. Like Brené Brown says in her talk.
The fear of criticism was so great in my life up until that point. I mean, just paralyzing, because I didn't know if I could literally, physically withstand the criticism.
I find nothing more sad than wasted potential, especially if you let your potential go to waste because you are afraid of what others might say. Creatives have a certain level of sensitivity to them. So of course what people say about our work can affect us. Try your best to look at it from a different perspective. The goal should be to show up and give it your best, not to get applause. In The Call to Courage, Brené Brown quotes Theodore Roosevelt, which literally brought me to tears when I first heard it, because it apparently struck a nerve.
And it says, it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it different. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again and again, and who in the end, while he may know the triumph of high achievement, at least when he fails, he does so daring greatly.
So be in the arena. Dare to be yourself. Show up for your art and take chances. You have to have an internal belief that you can do it. You can't expect others to understand you or your ideas. If you have the belief that what you are doing could evolve into something, go for it. Show up in the arena.
It's crazy, but it works.
Be vulnerable. Expose what's inside. Put a piece of yourself into your art. Make something only you can make. We have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you are like me, you find it very painful to put yourself out there, but we are lucky enough to live in an age where the internet makes it possible for us to share our art with the world, and the only real cost is your willingness to be vulnerable and uncomfortable. Your music doesn't have to be picked by a record company. Your art doesn't need a gallery to be seen. You can share your process, your voice and your art with the world. And maybe you're lucky enough that it will connect with people who find value in it. As Austin Kleon writes in his book Show Your Work. Colin Marshall says, compulsive avoidance of embarrassment is a form of suicide. If you spend your life avoiding vulnerability, you and your work will never truly connect with other people.
Vulnerability is not about winning, it's not about losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome.
If you want to create deeper and more meaningful art, you have to have the courage to be vulnerable. Open up parts of yourself and show the world. Take the hits, but stand firm in your process and your art. Being vulnerable is the point, to take something you have inside yourself and bring it forward as only a gift you are able to give. And that doesn't mean it isn't scary, because of the uncertainty and the invitation to be judged and criticized. But it is within this act of vulnerability that true self-expression and art are formed.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. Vulnerability is hard, and it's scary, and it feels dangerous. But it's not as hard, scary, or dangerous as getting to the end of our lives and having to ask ourselves, what if I would have shown up? What if I would have said I love you? What if I would have come off the blocks? Show up, be seen, answer the call to courage, and come off the blocks, because you're worth it.